This month, we played Mixtape.
Have you heard Portishead's debut album, Dummy? A must-have. Cinematic, ambitious, ahead of its time. Just like me.
I'm telling you the truth. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, you've always been a killer, Steve.
I'm a thief, Gus. I'm not a grave robber.
F.K. in the coffin.
You will never know my secret blend of herbs and spices.
Steve's a swell name. My dog's name is Steve.
Hello, and welcome to Replay or Replace, the podcast where we spend the month playing a bad video game and deciding if it's worth a reevaluation or if it just belongs in the dustbin of history. I'm your host, Jeramey, and with me today is the lead singer of the Devo cover band, Danny DeDevo. It's Aiden. Aiden, what games have you been playing this month?
I've been playing Crime Scene Cleaner, Destiny 2, and a mixture of games on Roblox.
Oh yeah, we talked about Crime Scene Cleaner, the other recording, I think, or the other episode.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun one.
I like how you progress with the gadgets, and it makes your life a lot easier. Like the Ozonator, where it speaks to you and makes the stains go away faster.
Yeah. You know you can change the voice on it to a couple different ones?
Yeah, I usually keep it on the evil robot.
Hello there. It's time for a purge.
I like finding the secrets. Honest, that's probably one of my favorite parts. The levels give you a real sense of the story. Why did you replay it? Is it because of the new content that they added in?
I've been having Clara play it, and it just kind of revamped.
Psychonauts 2.
Really?
That is a great one. You know, I thought that Psychonauts 2 was never going to come out, and that if it did come out, it was going to be bad, because usually when games get huge, like, decade-long gaps, they tend not to be great. I'm thinking of, like, Duke Nukem Forever. They're just overcooked and just mess. But I was so happy that Psychonauts 2 turned out to be as good as it is. I'm not super far in my replay through it, but I just finished the part with the Psy King. You have to help him with his overstimulation by helping introduce his senses to him one at a time. It's really cool. And also, he's voiced by Jack Black.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't realize that it was Jack Black at first because he's not doing the Jack Black voice. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he's actually trying.
Yeah. He does sing a song because his character is like a musician. But when he was singing, it wasn't the Jack Black voice. It was really cool to find out that was him.
Lost alone, neither skin nor bone. Just a thought is all I've got. Now my troubles grow at the bottom of a lake, a frozen feeling. When my friend pulled me back up, I started healing.
But yeah, Psychonauts 1 is a great game. I would recommend anyone to play that one.
And my brother was in love with those games.
Oh, we should also mention that Christine is on maternity leave, so it's just us boys today.
Yep, boys' night out.
So, Mixtape. Did you have any feelings going into this game, like before we even started it?
Yes, I did have a slight bias. I have only heard not very great things about it. And I was expecting it to be worse than it was. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
It did surprise me.
I'm right there with you. I try to go in, pure, not watching any trailers or listening to too much news, but it was almost impossible to avoid all of the negative feedback about the game.
Yeah, it was a real big controversy. That seems like where it's got its name to fame.
Oh, yeah, but we'll definitely have to talk about all the controversy around it later on. But, I don't need to ask you how far you got playing through the game this time, because we played it together, which is something we haven't done before.
Yep, we bonded over it.
Yeah. You had it on Xbox Game Pass, right?
Yes, and then I brought my Xbox over.
Yeah, so we didn't have to spend any money on this one.
It was great. I didn't want to spend like the $30 that it was, something like that.
Yeah, I think it might just be 20, but it's still a pretty large asking price. So our icebreaker today is going to be a little different this time, because instead of playing a game or a quiz, we did something more physical.
Oh yeah, we tried to do ollies on your son's skateboard, right?
Yeah, it's this old one. Pulled it out of the garage. And yeah, you, me, and Clara, we tried a couple times to do some ollies on it. Yeah, we were super cool and successful.
Yeah, we were. You actually managed to do one. I didn't even really get the board up off the
I don't
ground.
know. I don't know if I got the back wheels up off the ground either, but I'll play that audio here for everybody to listen to us doing a super great job. Okay, so like do it like an ollie is the basic trick, and it's where you have to like have one foot on the back and one foot on the front, and I think you kind of push with the back to try to jump up.
One more try.
So, doing this in Crocs is not the move. I can't do it. I'm scared.
Okay, Aiden. You can jump off it pretty well.
Yeah, see?
They make it look so easy in the game.
I know. I guess they do this a lot. So you said one on the front and one on the back?
I think so, and I think you push your back foot down to kind of make it pop up.
I don't think this is going too well.
Well, here, let me try. Let's see if I break it. Ah! I have a terrible sense of balance.
That was pretty good.
I'm gonna give it one more try.
Oh, you almost did it.
At least I got off the ground.
Yeah.
You guys want to try again?
Yeah, I'll try again.
I'll try. Okay. If y'all can do it, I can maybe get it. If you can do it barefoot, I can do it with Crocs. That's how you do it.
That was pretty good.
All right, Aiden, one more time.
Hold on. Not quite.
All right, I want to try one more time.
Okay. Oh, you're about the closest one to it.
I think the crouch helped.
Yeah, me too.
Tony Hawk, this is my submission for
Pro skating.
Pro Skater 5. Pro skating to the max.
Ooh, that was pretty close.
Hey, and if you want to see the footage of our cool moves, you can follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, or TikTok, or YouTube, where you can watch us humiliate ourselves, along with some of the best clips from the games we've played. Also, while we played, we recorded some notes on a real cassette player that I have, and I'll kind of just be editing Jeramey. We'll be sprinkling those throughout the episode.
So the notes that you're going to hear sound pretty messed up. The reason for that is that I'm using an old tape I'm sort of copying over, and I got it from a thrift store for 25 cents.
Let's get into the history, because while there's no previous games, so we don't have a long catalog like the Borderlands one or the Fallout one. This has been like the first, I think, standalone game we've played in a little while, isn't it? Like, not a sequel.
Yeah, we've been playing series.
I think that says something about a series of games can really fall off as they keep going.
Yeah.
Even though this is a singular game, it still has some interesting backstory that I think we should talk about. The story of Mixtape, well, not the actual story in the game, but the story of making the game, starts in 2007 with a band called the Galvatrons, led by Johnny Galvatron. I think that's the name of the planet that Transformers come from, right?
I think so, yeah. It sounds very Transformer-y.
It's something Transformer-y.
That's a word.
I was a little too young to watch the Transformers cartoon when it came out.
I grew up with those Michael Bay movies.
Oh, yeah. I watched the first one, and I think that's the only one I've seen. Oh, you know what? I watched the Bumblebee movie, and I really enjoyed that, actually.
Interesting.
Well,
I remember one time my brother took me to see Transformers Extinction, I think. It had a T-Rex robot in it.
There's a old YouTube video where they keep re-editing the movie and adding more and more stuff into it, like changing the name to transmorphagizers or something, and adding in more branding, and like, we have to go save OreoBot.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's a truck at all. I think we just found a transformographizer.
On this day, we mourn the loss of our greatest ally, OreoBot. More than any other transformographizer, he was the very definition of a robot in disguise.
Things like that, and they just keep adding them on top of each other, so it's a fun video. But anyway, the Galvatrons, they had some success touring in Australia and the UK, and they played as a support act for Def Leppard and Cheap Trick during a tour. So that's pretty cool, and those are like pretty legendary classic bands. I'm going to play for you, and then I'll put some into the edit. This one's called Robots Are Cool. You can really feel the Devo influence, which is one of the things they said was a big inspiration. We'll have to talk about that more later on.
This is interesting. Oh wow, these guys are really jamming into it.
Yeah, you can really tell that they've got some passion behind what they're doing.
They definitely given that rock star vibe.
Yeah, but now you kind of got an idea. They were a band with decent pull when they were touring and playing. But after about 10 years of doing that, around 2011, Johnny Galvatron was burnt out, saying in an interview for ABC News that traveling in a mid-tier band is the worst thing ever. I still feel a panic attack when I see a 2-seater van. I want to do something where I never had to leave the house again. So he didn't quit the band. The band didn't break up, but they are kind of on an indefinite hiatus, from what I could understand. It was a little hard to find out some of those details, especially stuff about Johnny and the other band members, like earlier lives and stuff. Like, I couldn't learn anything about Mr. and Mrs. Galvatron. Oh. I don't know, like, what kind of a financial setup he has or anything like that, but it seems like he put in some work, for touring around with his band.
Yeah, he sounds very niche too.
So what do you do when you're done with your rock and roll dreams? You found a video game company, and that's what Johnny did. He created Beethoven and Dinosaur, and he developed the game The Artful Escape in 2022. Have you heard about this one?
No.
I didn't know about it.
No, I've never heard of that game.
It did pretty well. So it's about a folk musician named Francis Vendetti who actually wants to play rock music instead, and he wants to get out of the shadow of his famous uncle.
Interesting.
And it's like a psychedelic side-scrolling game where playing the guitar is like a really important part. I think that you can play the guitar to like help you navigate through stuff. I imagine. I haven't played it, but I imagine you use it to like knock around the scenery or something. And you also use the guitar to fight bosses. They originally got a $17,000 grant from Epic Games.
Really?
Then they got on... Yeah, it was a thing Epic Games was doing to get people to make games in Unreal Engine 4.
Oh.
After that, they got the game on Steam Greenlight, back when that was still a thing. I remember clicking through Steam Greenlight and voting on games that looked interesting to be brought in.
You get stickers and I think badges if you would do it.
Nowadays, you can publish anything on Steam, it seems like.
Yeah, I know. No, with no regulations at all.
They started a Kickstarter for the game so that they could put it on different platforms, but that was not fulfilled. And finally, they got a publishing deal with Annapurna Interactive, and we'll talk more about them later on. But what's really impressive to me is the voice cast they got for this game that I've never heard about. And I know a lot of video games, but you have people like Jason Schwartzman doing the voice of characters, Courtney Taylor, she plays a character on Regular Show, and she's also the female sole survivor in Fallout 4, and a bunch of voices in Fallout New Vegas.
Interesting.
Lena Headley, who played... Yeah, I mean, Jason Schwartzman is like a screen actor, but these other ones I don't know quite as well. You rewatched Regular Show pretty recently, right?
Yeah, about a year ago, I think.
Let's see, because I didn't recognize the character that she played. Let's see. She was the voice of Starla.
Starla?
In the Regular Show.
That's Muscle Man's wife, eventually.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember. They're such a good match.
Oh yeah, green and everything.
But so she's been in a ton of stuff and a ton of video games too. Way back, her first credit for video games is 2002. So
wow.
she's been on it.
Yeah, she's a veteran.
Mm-hmm. Lena Headley, who played Cersei in Game of Thrones, and Carl Weathers, the actor. And this was actually Carl Weathers' last vocal acting role before he passed away. I think right now he's most famous for his character in the Mandalorian.
Oh, who was
Let's
he?
see. He was, I don't want to be reductive, but he was the black guy.
Oh, yeah. So then he also was Apollo Creed in Rocky. It's the same actor.
Oh, yeah. And he was in Predator, the original one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was jacked.
Yeah, he's the one that did that meme with Arnold where they like
Did a-
high five and flex their muscles.
Oh, yeah, the mid-air arm wrestle.
Dylan! You son of a bitch!
Yeah. So it has a stacked cast of voice actors, and it got pretty decent ratings. I think it kind of sits around at 80% from what I've seen, and it was nominated for a bunch of awards, and it won the Artistic Achievement Award at the 18th British Academy Game Awards. I feel like I just said awards too much, so it has some accolades.
Maybe I gotta check this game out.
Yeah, it seems like a cool one. Well, I was just about to ask you if you think sounds like a game that you would play?
Oh, I'd probably at least try it out, especially given the previous game is not the greatest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Proceeding,
yes,
right?
The game that preceded it.
Proceeding game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about side scrollers nowadays, but I would take a look at it. If somebody said, "Here, play this game," I wouldn't say no. I don't know if I would seek it out. Well, let's move on to Mixtape. Aiden, do you want to give us the plot points?
Sure. Stacy Rockford, Van Slater, Cassandra Moreno are having one last night together before Stacy leaves the next morning. Road trip canceled.
They both seem like the ones who thought they were cool in high school, but everybody actually hated.
So, it all really begins in Stacy's bedroom, where everyone's hanging out because they have to kind of convene for this party that's going to happen tonight. They're all trying to find booze, as most teenagers are doing at this age, I suppose. She finds that her defined as cooler sister has left her a treasure map to find a stash of booze at a hidden camp.
Yeah, it was a cabin, right? Or maybe not even a cabin, like a little shack or something.
Yeah, it was like a really cool place.
I don't think we ever see inside of it. Everybody sort of hangs out front of it. But yeah, it's like a little cabin. I forget what they call it. They have a cheeky little name.
Yeah, I don't remember the name, but I know that they have to go through abandoned railroad, and they go into this train, and it's a really cool visual scene.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they pass through the overgrown car that's just kind of been left there.
It reminded me of 28 years later in the second movie.
Oh my gosh, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, that was a cool scene.
Yeah, and it's an important
it's
little
called
set
the
piece.
Ritz.
Oh, the Ritz, yeah. Like the Ritz-Carlton. Fancy. Let's see. Yeah, so they get this treasure map from her sister's room. Her sister's off at college or something. And
yeah,
it's her sister's like, "Hey, I know you're looking for booze. Here's a secret stash. Go get it." But before they get to the Ritz, they have to stop at Cassandra's house, right? I don't remember why.
I think it's because the dad is a cop and he's aware that there's going to be a party at the Ritz. So he's kind of grounding her, making sure she doesn't leave.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we meet her and he kicks Stacy and Slater out. He's like, "You guys are..." He doesn't... I don't know. I'm not sure if he just comes out and says it, but he's like, "You guys suck it.
You're driving bad influences on my daughter. Get out of here.
Driving my innocent daughter to crime, a life of crime. She wears short shorts now, and that's because of you guys."
I know. Blasphemous.
Oh, but I think needs to be a little clarification. The party that they're going to isn't at the Ritz. It's supposed to be down at the beach or something, originally. But yeah, the cop knows where it's going down. But yeah, I think so. Cassandra gets grounded, so she has to stay home. And is this where Stacy and Slater, they carry on and they go to the Ritz?
Yeah, there's kind of a small falling out, right? Between Cassandra and Stacy.
Stacy's she doesn't have much sympathy for Cassandra. She's like, "Why is it your fault that your dad's grounding you?"
Yeah, she's like, "You know what? Make the situation worse and just tell him to fuck off. That'll definitely work."
Yeah.
It's too bad autism wasn't invented in the 90s, because I think this person definitely would qualify. All right, so what are your thoughts so far, Aiden?
It's pretty stereotypical of a teenage coming-of-age story. I think the whole reminiscing through every single little thing that you've experienced is definitely on par of this kind of experience.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad story so far. It is a little annoying, though, how it is just them remembering things, but it's okay. I guess it's okay. How do you feel about the actual gameplay so far?
I mean, it's basically just kind of move forward, look around at things, wait for the game to play itself, basically. You have to look around enough till a glowing thing appears, and then you can actually move forward.
All right, well, let's have the game play itself a little bit more, and then we'll see what else we can find. Maybe we can find some gameplay somewhere.
What did they find at the Ritz? And not just alcohol, they find a ton of fireworks, too.
Oh, yeah. Alcohol and explosives do have a good combination, especially when you're teenagers. Nothing could go wrong at all.
It's like the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse TV show. That's a secret tool that will help us later.
Yeah. And then Cassandra does end up sneaking out, but she brings, oh my god, Jenny fucking Goodspring to the Ritz, the hidden spot. And
that's right, Jenny fucking Goodspeed.
Oh yeah, Goodspeed, not Goodspring. But Stacy just has a big ol' heart on for her for some reason. She just like really hates this girl.
Yeah. No, she hates her because in a quick flashback we find out that Cassandra went and hung out with Jenny Goodspeed instead of her one time. You know, this kind of stuff's really important to teens. So I get it. But I don't know if I ever really had quite as big a fight with any of my friends in high school than Stacy and Cassandra have here.
Oh yeah, I think the big thing for Stacy was that Cassandra thought her music was weird or something like that.
Wait, no, okay, because originally they were going to go on a big road trip, the three of them, right?
Yes.
And then Stacy completely ruins the plans by deciding to go to California and seek out a specific music producer and play them her mixtape, which will lead to her getting a job as like a music arranger, right?
Yeah. It's a really big deal to her that she cancels a like several month-long planned road trip last minute.
Yeah, when you're in when you're in Stacy's room earlier, you can see like this huge corkboard on the wall full of plans and like restaurant menus and maps and stuff. They even have like a little list where they're trying to plan out what could be a good catchphrase for the trip, which I think is so funny.
Yes, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, and she's like, never mind. And I guess she just thinks that Cassandra and Slater are just going to, just not do anything?
Yeah, I guess just wait for her or something.
Yeah. But they say that they're going to go on the road trip that they planned anyway, and they're going to bring Jenny with her, or with them. And that's just like, Stacy hates that. So, yeah, let's see. Cass leaves. She, leaves the Rich with Jenny, and they're going to some, convenience store parking lot to do some underage drinking, I think, right?
Yeah. And then they get high, I think. That's a scene, interesting scene.
Oh, yeah.
Slater needs to get some movies. That was pretty fun to play as him, because he just kind of bumps into things and knocks stuff over.
Yeah, I think that's a flashback, right? Where they're super high. Yeah, I really enjoyed that part.
Well, we take a break and have some pizza and practice our skateboarding skills. Let's take a moment and think about the game. We're about halfway done right now, and I think that I might have a much more positive view of it than what seems to be the main online rage opinion. I think that there's a lot of really cool dreamlike imagery in it. I really enjoyed playing baseball and watching the stadium grow around you as you keep making home runs. That was pretty cool. And look, the characters are annoying for sure, but they're also teens who are annoying. The characters are annoying, but they're written to be annoying teens. And I think that it works for me. There's a certain kind of subtlety to it where you can tell that they are posturing for one another. They're trying really hard to act cool. Although they do have passions, individual passions, they're trying to downplay certain things that they like or make their interest in other things bigger just to kind of play off of each other in a way that teenagers tend to do.
I feel like it's just very characteristic of teenagers, like you said, how they're just trying to seem as cool as they can and definitely like trying to put on a persona, especially if the whole like, is it metal? Is it punk? Like that's something I definitely probably said to my friends.
Yeah, they keep asking if things are metal or not, as if they're trying to gauge what they need to wear or do to remain cool.
I feel like you kind of hit the mark with the subtleties. A lot of people, or at least a lot of young people, will try to fit a certain mold without actually fitting the real mold. You know, it's so superficial to say, oh, I'm punk because I wear X amount of clothes, or I have this hairstyle, or I listen to this music specifically. Usually, when you get older, you realize you just either are or you aren't a certain archetype.
Yeah, I think it's pretty well said.
They stop at Slater's house, and Cop Dad shows up to warn Mrs. Slater that something's going on tonight, and to keep her son at home. And I love the way that Slater's mom like talks to him. She's like, "Oh, the pigs are here," like right to his face.
Mom, who is it?
One moment. It's the pigs, darling.
You can call me Officer Marino when I've got the badge on, Miss Slater.
I think there's little bits of charm in the game, just sprinkled about.
Oh yeah, no, there's some really fun and there's some really funny parts in it too. It's also really weird that the cop is he's just going around to every house that has a teenager to tell them, hey, there's a big party tonight and we're going to crash it. I guess it really feels kind of like,
you know, got
evening, man. I've got some exposition for you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, I'm going to go bust some kids who are drinking in a convenience store parking lot. And this is the point in the game where I think we were just feeling pretty exhausted. Like, we've gone through the story pretty fast, but this was like probably around 2 hours.
Yeah, it just starts to drag. I remember you even made a cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, it turned out that I was actually kind of sick.
Oh.
And so I was having a little bit of a hard time focusing near the end.
I think the worst part about this game is how long it drags. That's probably the worst thing I can say so far.
He says that he's going to go bust the kids down at the convenience store. And so Stacy, I guess, outruns the cops running over there
in a shopping cart.
Warn everybody.
She was in a shopping cart.
That was an earlier flashback.
Okay, sorry. Too many flashbacks and I get confused about the plot.
Oh, no, it's totally... I mean, it makes sense. It is basically flashbacks, the game. I swear, there's even one part, I think, where it is a flashback, and then inside the flashback, they start reminiscing about something else that happened in the past.
I think something like that happened.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. But this part's actually kind of like a side-scroller. Yeah, it's like a side-scroller auto-run game where you have to duck under construction equipment and jump over things. But
Subway
you
Surfers?
can't lose.
It's not Subway Surfers, is it?
No, because it's a different perspective, but same spirit. Stacy gets there and she warns Cass, and Stacy takes the blame for everything, but it doesn't matter because they all just run away from the cops anyway. I feel like I've kind of taken over the summary here, but I need to make a confession to our audience. We actually did turn off the game and then just watch the ending because we were feeling really drained at this point.
Yeah, and you had to go, I think.
Yeah, I did. I had to go pick up my kid. But do you feel like you missed out a whole bunch jumping from Slater's house to the end of the game?
No. I mean, the game really could have just been experienced through a YouTube video, unfortunately. We haven't even discussed the gameplay yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, here, let me just finish up the last bit of the summary that we didn't actually play, and you can tell us about the actual ending. So, they're running away from their underage drinking, and they meet a convoy of older kids, and these are the kids that were going to have the party, and they basically say, hey, do you guys know any cool place where we could have a party? And they're like, yeah, let's go to the Ritz. So, they're all at a big party at the Ritz. There's a ton of people there. Everybody's drinking and firing off fireworks. Stacy and Cassandra make up, and the three of them are sitting on the roof of the Ritz and just hanging out and having a nice time. And then the climax happens.
Oh, the cops arrive, or they start showing up, right?
Well, a firework goes off wrong.
Oh yeah, and then the
Sets
fire
the Ritz
starts
on fire. Yeah. And then, the cops show up. And which cop is it that gets there first?
Cassandra's dad.
Cop dad. And this is arguably the best part of the game, but I think for the wrong reasons. What happens right here?
So Cassandra starts confronting her dad because he's been super restrictive and essentially making her stay and not go to college. And she goes, Daddy, I'm going to go in my wicked ways, and if you don't let me escape this town or something like that, right? Along those lines. Yeah, I know. She's like, I'm going to burn this whole place down. And she's like cursing and sounding all cool, and there's like a bit of guitar music playing in the background with her finger.
There's like the fire behind her, and she's got a lighter out, and she's like, look, basically saying like, look, I did it with this lighter.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to destroy this town because of you. And I guess she felt really cool in that scene, but I was just thinking like, man, go to bed.
I want you to understand. This ain't a catastrophe. It's a warning. Daddy, if you trap me here, this will only be the beginnings of my wicked ways. Because I'm angry and I'm wired and I'm fixing for a whole lot of trouble. If you make me stay here, I'm gonna burn the whole fucking place down.
And then I think this is the most in a game where you have parts where you are riding on dinosaurs and parts where you're basically going through dream sequences. This is the most unrealistic part to me. What does Cassie's cop dad say to her?
Does he even say anything? I thought he just kind of nods his head.
I think he says that we have an understanding or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right. He does say that.
And he lets them go.
That was surprising, too. No consequences faced.
I don't see any world where strict cop dad lets arsonist daughter leave after she threatens to burn the town down.
I would have imagined him to at least tell her, you're not going to college.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine any parent just letting their kid go off after allegedly after confessing that burned down a building?
Yeah.
And threatening to burn more?
Highly concerning.
I feel like that, yeah. I feel like you'd be like, all right, we need to get you some, like, real professional help. The game ends with everybody saying goodbye as they walk back to their houses, and we can only assume that Stacy goes off in the morning and meets the music producer, and the music producer is so blown away by this 16-year-old's mixtape that they give her a job right there.
On the spot.
Did you know that there's alternate endings to this game?
No? Really?
Yeah, there's 4 different alternate endings, and it depends on what you interacted with throughout the game and whose story you focused on more. So there's an ending for each character doing the narration, and then there's a 4th ending where they all do a narration.
What?
Yeah. Slater's narration is basically like, yeah, I may be the only one that's still living in this small town. All my friends are gone, but it's cool.
Damn, that's sad.
Yeah.
Everyone abandoned him.
Yeah, because Cassandra's going to go off to this like fancy college that she got into instead of the local college that her dad wanted. And Stacy's, I don't know, off in California. Hopefully, or maybe never to return.
No, any final thoughts? We'll have more time to think about it for the thing, but final thoughts for right now. Well, it's fresh.
I don't think I've ever been any more tired to play a game.
Use an app too.
But yeah, we talked about it a little bit before, but woven throughout the whole game is all these little vignettes and flashbacks showing how like these three, how the relationship has grown, about how Slater and Stacy met Cassandra, all kinds of things. Stacy's first kiss, that's a big one that people complain about online.
I hate that scene. It's just kind of gratuitous. It's not very funny.
Yeah, because it's like a close-up of their teeth and tongues, and you just control their tongues wiggling around. I feel like not a lot of first kisses have a lot of tongue in them.
No.
But I heard somebody describe it as Lovecraftian, these like flesh tentacles writhing around.
Ew.
I think it's kind of gross, but it's kind of funny to me. There are so many flashbacks that you don't get out of Stacy's room for at least 45 minutes. It feels like, because you have so many flashbacks throughout it.
We're just experiencing flashback after flashback, and you realize you haven't gone anywhere at all.
I remember when we realized, like, they're still in her bedroom.
Yeah, like half the game is just in bedrooms, technically, because you don't leave until all the flashbacks have been done. I guess it's just kind of...
I think just the key flashbacks you have to see.
Yeah. I think, like, it's supposed to be a game about reminiscing because you're moving forward in your life, I guess. I don't know. They're only like 18. Not too much to reminisce about.
Well, I feel like when you're younger, all your life is more compressed, so everything seems more important. You know, as you get older, you've lived more, so things are more spread out in your mind. But when you're young, it's still like all pretty fresh, and that makes it feel more important. You know, one of the things I liked about this game is that how all these flashbacks are ruminations on the past. They're all the flashbacks are the characters remembering it. And so they're not really grounded in reality. They're kind of like their own experiences, the way they remember them. So, like the part you mentioned before where they're riding a shopping cart down a hill to escape the cops. And it's like this extreme skateboarding arena, basically. The downhill never ends.
Or the one scene where you're flicking off cars to blow them up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You drive through the mall that hasn't been finished yet and blow up the world's largest gumball machine by, shooting at the double deuce.
I'm flipping you off right now. Of course, there's other ways to give somebody the finger. Oh, check it out, behind the back. Oh, around the world. And my personal favorite, the double deuce.
And see hitting baseballs in an empty field and as a stadium builds around them. And I thought it was really cool.
That was one of the more impressive scenes.
That was a fun one, the baseball one. It's just really, I like that idea that we're playing through their memories. So we're seeing things how they want to imagine them or want to remember them.
Yeah.
We normally don't talk about it straight up, but since this game is mostly plot, and like a pretty short one, what did you think of the story overall?
I thought it was lackluster. Ultimately, nothing of substance happens. There's no really any character arcs or consequences. I think that's the biggest thing. There's no consequences to any of their actions. Stacy is very firm about what she wants, and nobody really pushes back.
Except for one little part where they say, yeah, we're going to keep going with the road trip without you. Nobody says, hey, the thing you're doing is really shitty, Stacy.
Yeah, I mean, you see this whole drawn-out plan that they've been doing for months, right? And they even talk about it in the bedroom, like, hey, we were planning that for months. And then all of a sudden, Stacy's like, nah, that plan sucks. And it's just like, man, I figured if you cared about your friends more, especially if it's going to be your last, year or however time you have left in the town, I'd rather do that.
It seemed like just like the summer, because we know at least Cassandra's going off to college, so she could have, I'm not sure why she couldn't delay it, but it's like, how recently did she come up with this plan? And why did she have to put it into action right away, which is hurting her friends? Who knows? Teenagers are selfish.
Yeah.
Teenagers are, they're psychopaths, I mean, in the nicest way possible.
Yeah, I do feel like most people just kind of just say, okay, when it comes to to Stacy, because she's just kind of rude.
Yeah, she kind of gets whatever she wants in a very, non-confrontational way.
Nobody ever has a problem with what she says, and if they do, they don't do anything about it.
The perfect recipe for drama in a story is just to let one person get away with everything.
Yep.
I could definitely see what they wanted to do with this story, and we'll talk about it later, but let's talk about it now. This story definitely hit some people really hard and really clicked with them. I just don't think it clicked with me. I didn't have my high school years were really different because I was living in Germany at the time. So we didn't have to sneak alcohol. We could just go buy it from the gas station.
In high school, my senior year, alcohol was not that big of a deal in most of our lives.
No, it wasn't really for us. Our campus had like a forest on it. Nobody was sneaking into the woods to like drink and smoke or anything. Part of it, I think, is just because since it was available, that didn't have as much of a thrill to it. But there was other stuff going on. It's not like we're in a movie from the 80s about high schoolers where it seems like getting enough booze to impress the girl of your fancy at a big party is an important thing. I had other things on my mind.
Yeah, like going to college. That was a big thing for me.
Well, so usually when there's controversy about a game, we talk about it in the history section, like we did with Borderlands 3 and the thing with Claptrap's voice actor and the exclusivity deal that they had. But for Mixtape, it's a little bit different because the backlash happened after the game was out, after reviews and major publications were out, and it kind of took over the whole narrative. This big backlash because a couple of reviewers gave it 10 out of 10 scores.
Yeah, like IGN and GameSpot, I think.
Yeah, some of these people really loved this game and felt like it was the best thing that they had played in a while.
I think it might be because of the music, actually. Surprisingly.
What do you mean?
Well, I feel like a big theme about that game is the power of the music. It's supposed to be encapsulating the feelings of whatever experiences she's going through, right? And I think a lot of people just kind of, I guess, some of these IGN or reviewers are probably older, right? So they probably have a more nostalgic feeling for some of that music, and I think it just kind of hit the specific niche for those people.
Yeah. I mean, also, okay, I was a little bit too young to be in high school in the 90s. I graduated in 2009. So, yeah, if these reviewers are older and actually were high schoolers during this time period, I could see it really being emotional and affecting to them.
Yeah.
When this game, which, I think it's technically a walking simulator, and those have always been controversial with real gamers, real game heads. The kind of people that say games on your phone aren't real, or games on the Wii aren't real games, that like Call of Duty's a real game. They're always like, walking simulators, not a real game. It's an interactive movie, and these kind of people can be really loud. And when they see a game like this that doesn't click for them, getting huge, glowing reviews, it starts to seem kind of like a conspiracy, almost.
Yeah.
People were saying that it's astroturfing, that they've paid reviewers off to give good reviews. And I don't know. I feel like that could be a thing in the industry, but from everything I've seen about good old Johnny Galvatron, he seems like a pretty genuine person, if kind of cringy. Well, let's talk about the game producers real quick. So, Annapurna Interactive. Another big thing that people were saying is that this production company can only make bad things because the company is owned by the daughter of the third richest man in the world, and that definitely gives some what's it called when your parents are famous so you get a free pass into becoming an actor? Nepotism, yeah, nepo babies. So yeah, definitely a nepo baby. My parents can't let me create a production company no matter how many times I asked.
I don't think most people can.
No. And people are like, it isn't an indie game because it has a super rich producer. And sure, I get it, yeah. And it's not independently published. It's published by a production company. But, I don't know. Okay, this is going to sound weird because by the time this episode comes out, I would have put out a Substack article talking about the CEOs of Borderlands and how they're bad and how it's weird that in Borderlands 4 some of the CEOs are good. well, I'm not saying that the CEO of this company is a good person or anything, but I feel like for a super rich person, there's a lot worse things you can do than helping produce passionate people to make art.
Yeah. You know, it just kind of means that she just had more resources to establish the piece of art that she wanted. You know, make the vision she wanted.
Yeah, the soundtrack is so important to this game. Do you think they would have had, or do you think they would have been able to license all those songs without, like, a production company?
Oh, no. No way.
Yeah. Well, okay, so this is actually, first it was a film company, Annapurna Pictures, and they started in 2011. The whole focus is helping produce smaller movies from creative people. You know, and making movies that probably would, or that might not have been made by a huge studio like Warner Brothers or Fox or anything. And so they've been putting out some of these movies, and some of them are pretty, like, have, you know, pretty decent things. One of their earliest movies was Spring Breakers, which is kind of like a cult classic film. Her, which was directed by Spike Jonze. Bunch of pretty interesting movies. Sausage Party, which is weird that one's in there. I've never watched that movie. I don't really want to, but you gotta admit, it is a weird movie.
Yes, very phallic, of course.
Sorry to Bother You was great and disturbing, and that's awesome that director could make a movie. But Boots Riley, yeah. And then we have the video game branch of it, which started in 2016. And their first game that they published is What Remains of Edith Finch, which I actually went and played to kind of compare it to this one. Because What Remains of Edith Finch is kind of held up as the best, like, the perfect walking simulator, with a really impactful story and really powerful characters, and also, you know, some engaging gameplay in it. There's a really powerful part of What Remains of Edith Finch where you're playing as a person who works in a fish canning factory, and his job is to take the fish and they come off the line and put them underneath the, like, mini guillotine that cuts off their heads and then throw them back onto the line. And he does this every day, over and over again. And he starts to have his imagination, imagine that he's a king of a fantasy world. And so with one hand, you're controlling him, you know, grabbing the fish and chopping them and throwing them back. And on the other hand, you're controlling this little fantasy character and walking him through a fantasy land that starts off as just like two-dimensional lines as a maze, but becomes this huge 3D world that this guy's imagining, full of color and music and like a whole story to it. And you're doing both of these things at once. And that's probably the most powerful part of that whole game. This production company has put out a ton of stuff, and a lot of games that people really like The Outer Wilds. People love The Outer Wilds. 12 minutes. People hated 12 minutes, but it made an impact. Neon White, people loved that one. Stray, where you play as the little cat walking through the, like, what is it? Cyberpunk robotic future?
Oh, yeah. Wait, why didn't people like 12 minutes? I thought that was an interesting concept.
People didn't like the twist ending.
Oh, I mean, it was kind of weird,
I don't know
but
if I should...
I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, I think a lot of people didn't like it because it turned out that the whole 12 minutes thing was just a dream that the guy was having, and that none of it had ever actually happened. And for some people, I think that's kind of a cop-out. I've never played it, so I can't... You know, one of the whole points of this podcast is me trying not to judge things before I've actually engaged with them.
Yeah.
So I can't say myself, but that I've heard that's why people really didn't like that game.
Well, maybe if you got 12 minutes to spare at some point.
Nobody really cared about this production company, about it being operated and owned by this Nepo baby, until this game came out. Nobody said anything about it when The Artful Escape, the first game by Beethoven and Dinosaur, was put out. Nobody said anything about it when, just a little while ago, Lego Voyagers was produced by them. Later this year, they're putting out something called Silent Hill Townfall. Maybe that will have some kickback now that people are talking about it. But I guess my point is that it seems like the outrage is a little bit overdone. I don't know. What do you think?
I do agree that the controversy can be unwarranted. A lot of people can dismiss many pieces of art just because it's produced by people they don't like. I think that's the case for a lot of pieces of art. I mean, that's what this is ultimately, a piece of art. And if you don't like their politics or their source of income, it kind of overshadows what was created. I think you just sometimes just have to take a step back and just appreciate what's created. I think a lot of people heavily criticize movies just because they are such powerhouses, I suppose. And I think if you just take a step back and appreciate what's created, you can actually enjoy, or at least find enjoyable pieces in what media you're consuming.
You know what this reminds me of is when like barons and kings and the Renaissance time paid to commission artists to make huge works of art, like the Statue of David or the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Somebody paid them to make those, and otherwise they wouldn't exist. And in order for video game designers to make what they want, unfortunately, in the world we live in, they have to find the money for it. And sometimes they have to find the money for wherever they can get it from.
It's a bit disingenuous to discount people's like pieces of art just because of the money that they have. It doesn't mean that they're talentless or without substance. I mean, there's tons of nepo, actors, but they have plenty of talent and they make their own pathways, right? I think maybe that's what they're trying to do with this game. Yeah.
Yeah, just look at Nicolas Cage. But also, I think we have to remember that the developers, the people who made the game, are not the producers.
Two different people.
But I'm not pro the third richest man in the world lets his daughter control a bunch of media. But like I said, there's worse things that these super rich people who shouldn't exist, there's worse things they could be spending their money on than helping produce works of art. And I've always been pretty firm in my belief that video games count as art.
There's tons of beautiful stories, beautifully crafted games out there.
If Mixtape was a book, I would read it. I just don't think it translates well to video game.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that this game was most likely supposed to be a movie of some sorts.
Oh, well, before he started the game company, and after they paused the band, Johnny Galvatron did write a novel.
Interesting.
I don't know how similar it is, but that would be an interesting avenue of research to see how it kind of lined up. It's got to have some similarities. The man seems obsessed with music in a really good way, so there's got to be something in there that's probably pretty similar. You know what? Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's haul out our 3 areas of analysis: sound, look, and feel. And let's start with what I think might be the biggest one. So, like I said, Johnny Galvatron is a huge music guy, and he said in an interview that the whole game started with the idea of making a game from Devo's song That's Good, which is the first song that plays in this game. I really like Devo, and I do think that's a great song. I remember when the game first started and that song started playing as we were skateboarding down the hill, I couldn't help but feel excited and energetic. All of this guy's work is flush with music. How do you feel like the music impacted this game? Not just the music, sound effects too, and voice acting. What do you think about the sound of Mixtape?
I think the quality of the sound in this game is pretty up there. There's obviously a lot of passion put into the music and into the sounds of the game as well. Like the waterfall or when you're walking through the woods, you hear the creatures and whatnot. And it's very immersive, I feel like. It's kind of like almost hearing a painting, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the music itself, the playlist, the mixtape, is adding to the actual experience overall. Though I do feel like some of the songs are a bit misplaced in the atmosphere that they're trying to convey.
Yeah. Like, do you have any ones that you can think of off the top of your head?
Atmosphere by Joy Division. That one was a strange placement. I think at the end of the game, where it's supposed to be a sort of triumphant end, atmosphere is not the same vibe at all, in my opinion.
I don't know. I saw some reviews where people specifically said that was their favorite needle drop.
Really?
It just goes to show you that that's everybody kind of resonates with different stuff.
Yeah, it's true. It's just that song is a kind of a depressing song.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it could be considered depressing, considering the fact that Stacy does not change her mind. Is very stout in what she wants.
I think that music is super important. And, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get a lot of pushback from that. And we've looked at these games in the past where, like Borderlands 3, some of the music was okay, some of it was super generic.
Yeah.
Flat Out 3 didn't have music except for the main menu.
That was very stock.
Yeah. And you can feel the absence. You can feel annoyed, too, with the sounds. This is weird, but one of the things I always notice in video games is the sound of the footsteps. Because you're going to be walking around, you're going to be moving around for the whole game, and a footstep sound that's the same sound repeated over and over can be extremely annoying.
Yeah, it's like a fly in a room.
Yeah, and you can't escape it except for turning the game off. And I thought the sound effects were good. You could tell the difference between Stacy walking on the carpet and Stacy walking through the overgrown train. And I'm not saying that the sound effects were like super amazing, but they don't always need to be, because
all that matters is that they put attention.
Yeah, it's like they say in that one episode of Futurama that sometimes when you do things right, people won't notice you did anything at all. And that's what good sound effects are. And I think this game has good sound effects. I think it has pretty good music, and yeah, it's kind of manipulative almost how much the music can impact your emotions when you're playing. But I think that for a game based around a mixtape, they nailed that nail. They hit that nail on the head.
When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all.
I agree. I mean, you definitely see the vision right there. The mixtape is throughout the whole game. She does say it's supposed to sort of curate the whole experience, and it does, and then she gets very distressed when the song is out of place.
Yeah, when things don't...
Which was kind of funny to me.
When things don't go the way she planned, and then she's like, well, my mixtape for this day is ruined, because now the songs are discordant with what's actually going on. Well, Johnny Galvatron said that some of the things that inspired Mixtape were movies like Wayne's World, The Dazed and Confused, and the films of John Hughes? I would say that Ferris Bueller's Day Off is obviously a huge influence, especially the way that Stacy keeps talking to the camera, throughout the entire game. Even the very beginning of the game is her talking to us.
The compact disc delivers crisp, high-fidelity audio in a portable form factor with a 16-bit signal and a staggering 74 minutes of playtime. It's the sound of the future. Make memories to good music. Invest in quality headphones. Always make a soundtrack, because pretty soon you won't be listening to music. You'll be listening to who you were.
One interesting thing that he mentioned, though, when it came to the visuals and the art style of this game was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Did you see that kind of inspiration in the way the game looked?
Oh, yes. Very, very artistic.
Yeah, it's got like a stop motion kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, like the characters, when they walk, move in 12 frames or something like that.
It did throw me off a little bit sometimes. Like when they were walking through the woods
strange
and stuff. And
they were moving slower in a world that moved faster.
But it was a unique look.
I think the visuals were definitely its strongest point if the music wasn't up to par.
Really? Oh, that's big praise. It's because the game's all about the music, supposedly.
It's kind of poetic when you think about it. That maybe they're taking their last day very slow.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it looked good, for sure. I thought the character designs were really well made. You could really get a feeling of who everybody was just by the way they dressed and the way they, held themselves, the way they stood around. You could tell that Jenny... Oh, crap, what's her name? Jenny... Goodspeed. You could tell that she was, kind of preppy, kind of bubbly by the way she talked, the way she stood around. And, she was kind of like energetic and happy. You
Yeah.
can tell that Slater's really laid back by the fact that he's kind of just got, I don't know, schlubby t-shirt and jeans on, and everywhere, whenever he's like still in a scene, he's like kind of slouching or laying down, draping himself over things like the bed in Stacy's room and stuff. And you know who he is by looking at him.
Yeah.
All right, so this is going to be a tricky section because we're going to talk about the game feel.
Oh.
We took turns playing the game, and I think we both got a good kind of handle on how it controlled and what the gameplay was like. So, I guess, how much game was in this game?
I'd say about 20%.
Yeah, that seems about right.
I mean, most of the game was like short little mini game sections where it just had you interact with certain portions of the memories that they're having.
Yeah, wiggle the tongues around in the kissing one.
Oh, yeah.
Or skip stones on the lake and hit things if you want to.
Oh, that was a very clunky experience, though it was enjoyable to watch.
I was the one that played the skipping stones section, and I liked it. If there were more things to hit, I would have kept going. But I think I pretty much nailed everything. What I didn't like the toilet paper throwing section when you're TPing the principal's house.
Oh.
I'm not sure why. It just didn't do anything for me.
I liked the slushy machine section. That was fun.
Oh, yeah, that was great. Yeah, we both took turns making a squishy. Oh, wait, a squishy is what they call it in The Simpsons, right?
Oh.
What will it be?
Pooh, give us a super squishy. One that's made entirely out of syrup.
Entirely.
But it was a little fun experience.
Yeah, they gave both of our drinks different names, and I just wonder how many different names are in the game files so that it could do that. But
I feel like that was one of the rare times we had any real choice. I mean, choice is loosely used here because it doesn't affect any of the plot or anything.
Well, I guess here's one of my questions is, do you feel that like walking around an environment and looking at things, does that count as gameplay?
Not really. I feel like it's kind of boring for me personally, just to walk around and only look at things, not really interact with it or have some substance.
No, I get it. It's not like it's a crime scene cleaner, right? Where you can sometimes pick up, find evidence or find secrets hidden. There aren't any secrets in this game, really. I think that you can find some hidden tapes at some point. I don't think we found any of those or even knew that was a thing. But I can totally see what you mean. I find, walking around places and looking at stuff interesting enough that I would consider it gameplay. I mean, you're not making really, like, big decisions, but you're still deciding if you want to waste your time picking up the Portishead CD 3 or 4 times because I forget why. We kept forgetting that we looked at it or something.
Portishead's debut album, Dummy. A must-have. Cinematic, ambitious, ahead of its time. Just like me.
Yeah, we didn't know what else to look at, and it kept glowing.
Yeah.
It didn't stop glowing.
Little white dots stayed on it, even though we'd already seen it, and we got to hear the voice line over and over again. But hey, let's move on to review time.
It's review time!
So I found a couple of reviews here. I found 4, so we can each read 2. And I think they're pretty good ones. Now, when it comes to review time, I search by negative reviews and funny reviews. So I hope I got some good ones this time. Why don't you read the first one here?
This thing cannot even call it a game. This is in parentheses. It's truly an incredible achievement. I've never seen developers so bravely challenge the very concept of fun before. It's a spiritual experience and a true reminder that life is precious and there are better things you could be doing. That was pretty good.
Pretty scathing. Let's see. This one says, killer soundtrack, great art style, moved me a little. Unfortunately for the game, I also could have spent that $20 buying myself a Little Caesars instead. It is a little expensive for what you get. I mean, I understand that it's like a boutique experience, but $20 is a big ask, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can get Hollow Knight Silk Song, and that's like at least 8-hour experience.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Why don't you read the next one? The short one.
This game is so pretentious, it gave me a film school degree. Wow.
You know, I went to film school. I have a film school degree.
What does your film school degree mind have to say about that review?
I'd say I definitely see where it's coming from. I can see the pretentiousness. There's definitely a whiff of pretentiousness around the game.
Yeah, Stacy is very pretentious. She thinks her soundtrack is very important.
See, that's the thing. Teenagers are pretentious. Teenagers don't think about other people's feelings often. Like, teenagers do stupid shit, like accidentally burning down an abandoned cottage with a stray firework. I don't know. I feel like that part worked for me. There is one kind of pretentious part felt like a little try hard for me. It's when, I don't know if you remember, it's when they are they're imagining themselves riding on the back of a dinosaur as it walks through like a barren plain. And then in the distance, a meteor strikes down. I think we were talking about, like, what does this symbolize? Oh, you know, the meteor symbolizes the end of an age, and they're going through an end of an age too, the end of their high school years. And so I definitely got the pretentious willies there.
A bit on the nose, I suppose.
All right, here's the last one. Not a big fan how the game interrupts the cutscenes with button prompts, forcing me to put down my food and play the game.
You know, the funny part about that is you probably don't actually even need to press the button sometimes. The game basically plays itself.
You know, it definitely does in some sections, like the skateboarding ones, or the shopping cart downhill derby.
Yeah, very on the rails.
I think that the one where you are running to go warn Cassandra at the parking lot. I'm pretty sure you can't lose at those. We tried.
Oh yeah.
We would purposely try to run into things.
There's no fail state. You don't die or experience a retry from checkpoint. You just kind of rewind, and it sets you back and it moves you forward again. At a certain point, we got stuck at hitting a car. That I decided, yes, I have to.
The controller down.
Yeah, I had to steer away from the car.
But you do interact with stuff. You interact when you skip the stones, when you hit the baseballs, when you pose to take pictures in the photo booth. I think that you really enjoyed that one, right?
Oh yeah, because you can move the characters' heads around, and they actually do bump into each other. And Slater has one of his fingers pointing, and you can move it, and I moved it into Stacy's nose. I know, just a little bit of toilet humor, I suppose.
I think it's a little exaggerated. The game plays itself completely. Although here, I have a question. What would it add if it did have a failure state? If you did, like, in the very first scene, crash your skateboard
and die
into a car and die.
I think it would have actually been a little funny, because I would have been surprised.
The rest of the game is just Stacy in a coma in the hospital. Well, okay. Did you ever play the original Prince of Persia game? Well, actually, wait, not the original, because that was a really old school PC side-scrolling game. I guess the PlayStation 2 Prince of Persia game.
I did not.
In that one, when you die, since it's a story being told, the main character, the narrator, just says, like, oh, wait, it didn't happen like that. Let me restart. And then you just start back where you were, pretty much. And, I don't know, maybe it could have done something like that. Or, what is it? Sunset Overdrive. Every time you died in that game, when you, like, revived, or when you ever came back, you would come back in a different way. Sometimes you'd, like, burst out of the ground like a zombie, or sometimes you would just teleport in. There's a ton of different ways. You should watch a YouTube video of the, like, revive animations on Sunset Overdrive. But yeah, just some sort of acknowledgement that you did something in the game. I could see that being a benefit.
You know what's funny? That they didn't add anything cool like that, but they made the pause menu really nice.
Oh yeah.
It's probably one of the coolest pause menus I've ever seen in a video game.
It was like a CD case.
Yeah. And there was ads on it, and when you go to the settings, it was a sticker on the CD, and it made sounds and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, you when you enter certain settings, it would flip over the back of the CD case where like the song listings would be, and yeah, there was like price stickers on it. That was pretty neat, and it looked pretty beautiful too. I have a question for you. Do you think that this game would have been more successful if it was released episodically, like a Telltale adventure game?
Oh, actually, yes, I do think it would have succeeded better.
I think that the more we played, the more we kind of felt drained by it. If it had been chopped up into pieces, and it's already kind of set like that, it has a track listing. So if you paid $1 for each track as it came out and played through that little story and get that little piece of gameplay for that section, and then maybe a week later they put out the next one, I think that would have gone over way better. It probably wouldn't have gotten as good reviews from the main, review people, but I think it would have had a much more positive interaction with the players.
Yeah, I think the engagement between the community would have been better too. I hear that when shows released episodically, a lot of people like to conversate about what might happen in the next episode.
Oh, totally. It's like how everybody would get around the water cooler at work and talk about the most recent episode of Twin Peaks. And that's something we don't get that much nowadays with, streaming and instantly dropping whole seasons of shows.
Yeah, Netflix is pretty bad about that.
Yeah, that was just something I was thinking about. The Telltale Walking Dead game, everybody liked that one when it came out, but when you really get down to it, every choice you make doesn't really affect much. You still hit the same story beats. Sometimes it's just with one character in the background instead of another one. And in the end, everything turns out exactly the same, no matter what decisions you made. So, there's an argument here that, the illusion of choice is
better.
Can be a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah.
And maybe by chopping the game up a little bit, it would have been easier for people to digest that way.
I just think this game specifically, just suffered from many controversies that kind of exasperated the experience overall. A lot of people were going in with a negative mind already, like me and you, right? But then...
Yeah.
Or some people don't even bother at all. But then you experience it and you're like, oh, this isn't actually that bad.
Yeah. Something strange, maybe worth mentioning, maybe not. On Steam, Mixtape has very positive reviews with 85%. So I think this might be one of the cases where the negative voices are very loud, but maybe not as numerous as they make themselves out to be.
As you might think. Yeah.
Now is the time for us to make our final judgments. So we're going to decide, or we're going to go over what the best part is, what the worst part is, and is Mixtape a replay or a replace? Do you want to go first, or do you need a moment to think about it?
I think I'll start, yeah.
All right.
I think my favorite part of the game was probably the dream sequence when you're running and jumping through the grass fields and stuff. That was very, very visually impressive. Yeah. And I think it was just kind of, I don't want to say the epitome of what the game was trying to go for, but definitely a highlight of what the game was trying to go for.
Yeah. No, that was a very beautiful part.
These kids, these kids being creative with their music and the way they imagine things. And it's just kind of a pleasant experience to reminisce, right?
Yeah, and
ultimately that's what it is, right?
Whenever you landed, flowers blossomed, right?
Yeah, and I tried to draw with it, but the flowers fade away.
This game, or the publisher also published the game Flower, which was kind of an indie darling way back when. They didn't publish the original one; they just published it for Windows and iOS. But it's very similar. You play as a gust of wind blowing around a field, collecting up flowers. So there's some similarities there.
Interesting.
So, what was your least favorite?
My least favorite part was probably discovering why Stacy dislikes Jenny Goodspeed, just because Jenny's actually kind of just a chill person. She doesn't start anything.
Yeah.
And then just Stacy's whole attitude towards Jenny and other people that she dislikes, it just kind of is just like unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, I get that she's like a teenager, but I just feel like you could have a bit more nuance and a little less self-importance.
I get it. She's very much the kind of person that's like, you don't listen to the right kind of music. You listen to bad music.
Oh yeah, you're a poser if you don't act or dress this way.
Yeah. Which, in the movie SLC Punk, there's a part where the main character, who's like, a punk rock guy, where his girlfriend's like, you're dressing like everybody else in your friend group. How punk is it for all of y'all to kind of look exactly the same?
You know what's so funny? I showed Claire that scene a few weeks ago.
Oh, no way. I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but maybe it's time for a rewatch.
Well,
So,
it's true. A lot of people, I guess, get a badge of honor for feeling like they are a subgroup or being niche, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing right now, being in the know. Or I guess it's always been a thing, right?
Everybody wants to feel a little bit persecuted.
Yeah.
So, Mixtape, is it a replay or a replace for you?
I want to go with replay because I think it gets a lot of bad press, and it's honestly not that bad of an experience. It gets a little boring, but at least it's only 3 hours long, right? It's a 3 hour long experience. If you want, you can watch it, or you could just space out the game and not play it 3 hours straight like we did.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bad call.
We got it done. I think, yes, I'll do a replay. This is not a bad game.
Awesome. I wasn't expecting that from when we left after we finished the game. It seemed like it was going to be a replace for both of us.
Well, I think the biggest thing is we just played it all at once, and that can really kind of drain you.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, what do you think is the best and worst part of Mixtape?
I'm having a hard time with the best part because there are 3 moments in the game that really appealed to me. Making the slushies, I thought was, it was short, but it was fun.
Yeah, I like that.
But I think the best part for me is when Cassandra is hitting baseballs, and every time she hits one, it's a home run, and every time she hits a home run, kind of this huge baseball stadium starts sprouting up around her and in the distance, and just keeps growing more and more, adding more layers and bigger lights and stuff. And as ham-fisted as the dinosaur and meteorite part was, I felt that this one was a much better kind of example of, reinforcing the story, or actually reinforcing Cassandra's character. Somebody who's uptight, but when she finally,
lets loose,
focuses on a passion, she really feels it and really gets involved in it. Even though at the time she's saying oh, my parents made me play baseball or something, you can tell that it's something she really enjoys. And she kind of comes to life in a way that she doesn't in other parts of the game. So I'd definitely say that was my best part.
And your least favorite?
The least favorite, it's also a hard part too. I have to say the ending. The confrontation between Cassandra and her dad, where she says, "This is just the beginning of my wicked ways."
Oh yeah, that's how it went. Yeah.
It's really weird. It's like one of the podcasts I listen to, God Awful Movies, does a thing called the best worst. So this was the best worst teenage rebellion moment.
Very dramatic.
It was.
It's like she scripted it or took practice notes beforehand.
Yeah, like how Stacy was pre-scripting catchphrases for the road trip. It felt rehearsed, and it almost verges into so bad it's good territory. But in the end, I've watched the clip a couple more times, and it just makes me feel bad when I see it. So yeah, that's definitely my worst part.
So what will you rate this game? Is it a replay or replace?
The game was not as bad as I thought going in. But I'm still going to say replace, because what it does is done better in What Remains of Edith Finch. I wanted to be a good games journalist, so I thought it would be good to play through that one as kind of same production company, same walking simulators, same people saying they get a huge emotional kick from it, and I just enjoyed it better. I thought it did almost everything better than Mixtape did. There are some extremely emotional parts and some parts that almost made me cry. Not that that's a big brag. I cry at a lot of media if it really affects me, but I didn't ever really feel that passionate about Mixtape. It's not a bad game. It's not as bad as everybody is yelling about, but I say go play What Remains of Edith Finch instead.
Maybe I should try that game.
Do it. You might already have a free copy and not even notice it. I think it's been given out on a lot of things before. Yeah, it's definitely worth your time. Well, let's do our listener mail before we end the show. So this one says, "Hi, Roar Podcast." So I guess that's replay it or replace. So as I was playing through this game, it made me think of my high school experience. I had a lot of friends and a bunch of different groups, and I would just hop around between them, but a few of them were pretty intense. I was wondering, what is the most trouble you ever got in when you were at school? So, school time. Were you a naughty kid in school, Aiden?
Not really. But I remember, this isn't quite high school, but it was 8th grade, middle school. I was in the bleachers, and this was a field day. This one kid, I'm at the very top of the bleachers, and this one kid is annoyed because I'm making a sound or something, like I'm like cheering on the students down below because we're playing games or whatever. I think it was tug of war, actually. And he comes and he goes, "Dude, shut up, stop making all that noise." And I was like, "No, make me." So he starts pulling on me, and we're at the top of the bleachers, and he pulls on me and loses footing and falls all the way down the bleachers and hits a kid. And I land like basically all the way down on the ground, like Superman pose, or like an Iron Man pose, right? I didn't even get hurt once. Yeah. And the coaches, because we're in the PE room, the coaches just looked at me like, "Dude, what'd you do?" And I was like, "Dude, I did not do anything." It was a big thing because the vice principal had to get involved because that student needed to go to the hospital because the kid that pulled me landed on him, on his head, and they both had to go to the nurse, and it was like a whole big thing. And that the mom of the kid that got hurt wanted to press charges and do this and that.
Oh my god.
It was a big thing.
Sounds like
it was kind of like, I guess kind of embarrassing just because the scenario was just so weird. But ultimately, I didn't really understand why he was pulling me in the first place.
Sounds chaotic.
That was probably the most trouble I got into because I got technically ISS for the day, but then I went with my mom to the vice principal's office and I got out of the ISS.
So, big brawl.
Yeah, the vice principal had like an investigation, asking students what happened, and looking at the cameras and stuff, and ultimately I didn't face any consequences.
Oh, that's good.
And the student that pulled me got in trouble pretty big time, I'm sure.
Well, I'm glad that justice was served. Although it sounded like he kind of got his own consequences. So,
yeah, he was definitely a rough kid.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
For me, in high school, when I was in high school, it was the golden years of a little thing called Homestar Runner, and one of the videos on there, it was like a bunch of silly flash videos with a reoccurring cast of characters and a lot of like meta humor eventually. But one of the videos they put out was a guy named Crack Stuntman, and he's doing his community service by helping out pandas through a foundation called Pistols for Pandas, because these creatures need all the help they can get to defend themselves.
Oh wow, interesting.
And it had a little logo of a panda's face, and the panda looked angry, and the panda's eyebrows are like the silhouettes of revolvers.
Oh.
And I thought it was the funniest thing.
What was it called again?
Pistols for Pandas.
Pistols for Pandas. So one day I went to school and I got the code, one of the teacher's codes, to the printer, and I went back to the teacher's printer and I printed out tons of copies of this Pistols for Pandas logo. I started putting them up all around school, thinking that this was hilarious. I even got my friends to put some up around too. And I would have gotten away with it, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they had cameras or anything.
For those meddling kids, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, I would have gotten away from it, except for one of my friends, Maggie. She took one of the pictures and she just stuck it to the back of her jacket and was walking around with it behind her. And then from what I can tell, as soon as one teacher asked her about it, she immediately crumbled and said it was me. And so I had to I got called into the principal's office, and the vice principal was there too. and my German teacher, like my German language teacher, was there. She was a terrible woman, but she was dating the principal, and I had to like explain, like, okay, look, it's a joke, it's a fake like animal rescue foundation, and they were like, were you aware that there are guns in this picture for the eyebrows? And I was like, oh no, I didn't even realize that. And they were like, violence is a very important issue, and he said like, oh, there's some extremely violent video games out there right now, and
oh gosh.
And I like played along. I was like, oh yeah, I heard about this game called Manhunt where you just go around and kill people for. And they were like, okay, you have to take all of them down, and you have to go apologize to the theater teacher because I guess she was very affected by it.
Interesting.
One of the things they were really mad about, they were like, you stuck one to the glass on the front of the building. It was like right by the front door. So I was like, yeah, I did. And they were like, that's extra special, super expensive glass that we got to like be like prevent damage from bombs or something like that.
Oh.
And in my mind, I was like, how good can it be if a piece of tape like,
affects it,
compromises it? But I didn't want to get in trouble, more trouble, so I didn't say that. But yeah, that was me. I guess I was kind of like an eco-terrorist.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, that was fun though. But that's going to be our show. I want to thank all you listeners out there. You had a choice in podcasts, and for some reason you chose this one. For any questions or comments, email us at replayareplacepodcast@gmail.com, or record your thoughts on an old cassette tape and put it in a time capsule. It's been a really busy month. I don't know about you, but I need a vacation. I think I'm going to travel over to Philadelphia and really lean into the American roots, the founding of our country. What do you think you're going to go do now that you've finished Mixtape?
I think I'm going to take cover.
Duck and cover.
Yes.
Well, I am Jeramey, signing off for Aiden, and remember,
don't get replaced.
I'm telling you the truth. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, you've always been a killer, Steve.
I'm a thief, Bessa, not a grave robber.
FK in the coffin.
You will never know my secret blend of herbs and spices.
Steve's a swell name. My dog's name is Steve.
Hey, I didn't know where to stick this, but I found out Johnny Galvatron's real name is Jonathan Mole.
Jonathan Mole. Oh.